Do you know what shortcuts you may be taking that could cost you thousands when managing your rental property? I'm Josh with Sissel Management Company, and taking shortcuts is mistake number 2 in our series of 5 mistakes that cost property owners money. As a property owner, you know how time-consuming it is to keep your property in good condition. Things break, disasters happen, and they usually don't happen at the best times. Even in normal circumstances, several things need to be done in order to make sure that the repair or the improvement is handled properly. And if you're not a large company who gives a contractor a lot of business, you know how tough it is to get someone out. Because all of this can be so time-consuming, many property owners will go the easy route by allowing their residents to take charge of maintenance. Let's look at 3 different scenarios where owners take shortcuts and they seem harmless, but they could cost them thousands. All right, scenario number 1, your resident asks can they brighten the place up a little bit. They want to paint. You think it's a good idea, but you don't mind it if they're going to provide the labor and they're going to pay for the paint. What a great way to save money and get an updated color scheme. Never let residents paint. You'd be surprised at how many really bad paint jobs I've seen. I've seen some paint jobs that look like somebody painted with their eyes closed. We've seen walls that are really streaked up because a resident got lazy and they only did 1 coat when it needed 2 or 3. We've seen houses where someone painted and they rolled all the way up to the ceiling, or they rolled all the way up to the crown molding and all the way on the trim. Not only do you have to paint walls, so now you have to paint trim, crown molding, and sometimes even the ceiling. One time, a property owner allowed his resident to paint. They were supposed to paint the entire property because he wanted it all one color. When they moved out, they'd only painted 2 rooms. So he had to go back in and either paint those rooms and change the colors back, or he had to go change the other rooms and the closets, everything. What happens if they spill paint on your carpet? Are they gonna pay for it? What happens if they fall off a ladder while they're trying to paint that vaulted ceiling? Do they have insurance to cover them? No. You're gonna end up in a lawsuit. Scenario number 2. Let's just say your kitchen faucet or your toilet needs a repair. Seems rather simple. Your resident says they'll fix it. Sure, no problem, fix it, get me the bill. That's not the best idea. What happens if they don't make the repair correctly and it floods the house? Who's gonna have to pay for that? Scenario number 3, your resident is a self-proclaimed handyman and wants to negotiate a deal where you allow him to do repairs and you take it off his rent. Many owners think this is a great arrangement. It makes it super easy for them. Well, it's not. Your resident reaches out and says the kitchen faucet is leaking. No big deal, $25, $30 in parts and some labor. He comes back with a receipt for a $250 faucet. Well, you gave him permission. Or every month, there seem to be more and more repairs. The bills get larger and larger. Or even worse, the resident moves out, you come into the property and discover that several of the repairs you paid him for were never actually completed. And not only do you have to get them repaired now, and you already paid him, but now you have damage to deal with because they didn't handle the water leaks properly. This really muddies the waters of the landlord and tenant relationship. Are you taking shortcuts by letting your resident take care of maintenance and improvements? Think again.